I hope you're doing well. Today it is exactly 25th of January 2026. Right now it's around 1 hour p.m. in the afternoon here in Tokyo, and I am very happy to see you all. Today I wanted to share a very nice lesson that I've been learning in the past few weeks with you. We've just started our second semester here in Tokyo. Right now we're about almost 1 month in. So we started at 8th of January in school, and I think the biggest difference for me is that now I'm getting to meet older people from other classes, and it's very uncommon to have something like this happening because during the rotation in Minerva, we see that because we are in different cities at most of the times, we end up not having that much contact with our upperclassmen, except for like online messaging and stuff. So this has been a good experience to get to learn a lot more from their perspectives as well. Mostly focusing on, for example, how to do well in classes, how to focus on our career goals and things related to this. And I think the main point that I wanted to share with you today is to do hard choices. That's why the name of the video is this. And I think this comes from a very important realization that we don't have time to do everything that we want. So, especially during this winter break, I had the opportunity to travel, and after I came back, there were lots of friends from university that I wanted to catch up with, but that I couldn't exactly throughout the whole semester, and that I wanted to meet today, that day, before the semester started. But at the same time, I had only 8 days before academics came by, super hectic, and I think this also made me realize that I maybe wasn't exploring my rotation city as much as I wanted to. So as a context, I'm being here in Tokyo for around 8 months. One semester has, academic semester has already passed by, and now we have the other one. And my relationship with the city has been somewhat different in this second half of the year, let me put it like that. Because at the same time, I am not meeting exactly a totally different place, but I'm trying to find my free time to spend visiting the other parts of Tokyo that I've not exactly been part of up until right now. So this means, for example, meeting new people, doing new experiences, coming, for example, to parks like this. So yeah, very beautiful view. This is a place not so far from our residence hall called Takanawa no Mori Park. They also have a little waterfall here, so it's very nice. And as I was saying, throughout these conversations that I have had in these past few weeks with upperclassmen, I'm kind of realizing that most of the times we don't exactly realize how much we can push ourselves until some circumstance in life actually makes us do that. So this has happened to me multiple times. I feel like, for example, when I was in high school, academics didn't really push me that hard. Some concepts were difficult when I was studying them, but most of the times, because we didn't have the expectation to actually learn them, it was more just like surviving the classes until they basically stopped getting by, and then everybody mostly just forgot about them. Versus now in university, having to deal with a lot more of these things, and this time, if I happen to not know something, then I just will not learn it, and there will be somebody else who knows the concept and will probably get a better job opportunity or just be ahead in life because of that. If I had to leave one message for you from this video, it would be to try to challenge yourself as much as you can while you can, because this is going to put you much farther ahead in life for the next 6 months, for your next year. And if you keep doing this repeatedly, you are eventually gonna end up achieving a much better life. I can confidently say that 5 years ago, I would never think in my life that I would have an opportunity to be visiting the other side of the world in Asia, or to be living in Japan as part of my university program. During my application year, there were multiple times where I thought to myself that I would never be able to get a scholarship to study abroad. And in the same way that today there are many people who think in the same way that I thought in my past, that it was impossible maybe to get experiences like this, to be able to travel at an affordable price, to be able to meet new people from all over the world. There are probably people in my position who are struggling right now to overcome some difficulties related to, for example, internships, because that's what most college students are concerned about. But at the same time, there's probably someone in grad school who has already struggled with these and has also discovered some of the shortcuts. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that most of our difficulties come just from lack of information or lack of experience, should I say, instead of the task itself being so dauntingly difficult. From this, what are the alternatives that we can seek to become better, to maximize our chances of actually overcoming these obstacles? The first thing that comes to mind is connection. When we think about connection in work, this can be, for example, the LinkedIn messages that you send to people who are maybe a little bit more experienced to you, but that are eager to help you. One of the things that I didn't do as much as I should have is just cold messaging people, either on WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Messenger, email, whatever it is, just because people in general are willing to help. In the same way that most people right now, if you ask like, what are people doing exactly at this moment? Most of them are not doing something completely cool, which means that if you offer something that is even like slightly out of their usual routine, chances are that they are going to be surprised and they will probably respond in a very positive way to you. What this tells us is that you should probably be cold approaching more people, like cold messaging, even approaching, for example, you go to a conference and you find a speaker super nice and you want to connect with them, but at the same time you see that they are in a group of, let's say, friend presenters just talking to each other. This is a very good example of a time where you simply should go up to them with literally no shame in you and just say, wow, I really like this point about your presentation. Can I get your contact to talk more about this specific topic? Or if you don't know that much about this topic, you can literally say, I am very interested in exploring more about this, but I never had an opportunity. How about we chat more about this on LinkedIn or wherever it is? And this is a very simple way of getting more connection. If you want to do something related to connection on, let's say, your personal life because you are overcoming some challenges related to it, there are also some other alternatives. Especially deep self-reflection is one of the things that has been helping a lot to overcome these challenges. I've started basically meditating every day, always before going to bed, thinking about 3 things that I have been very grateful for in the past, let's say, week, maybe even during your day. And they can be very specific. I think the more specific they are, the better. This also helps you remember the things that happened during your day, along with gratitude, which is important in and of itself, because they help you realize the things that you are very fortunate for having. It is also important to reflect upon your day because then you can easily identify the things that you need to improve and actually focus on them. Self-reflection, one of the ways that we can do this is through gratitude journaling, but there are also other things on top of that. Coming to places that are new, at least for me, has been very helpful because they allow you to have new experiences, and this helps fundamentally because it allows us to see that we are able to live different lives as soon as we take a different action. Especially if we didn't have that many opportunities in life, it is very easy for us to become somewhat conformed with what happens to us. Especially if you grow up in maybe a developing country or just a country where we didn't have that much opportunity, it is very easy for us to start thinking that we maybe cannot change our life conditions as easily as we can. This isn't to say that people are responsible for their life conditions. If anything, it's generally the opposite that happens. But the point is that we can generally improve our life conditions a lot if we just put in a little bit more effort and we realize how much we can do, both by challenging ourselves to our limit, but also just by taking simple actions and seeing the difference that this makes in our day. For example, if I tell you to go approach a presenter at a conference and you actually do it and then you receive a very positive response, which happens most of the time, by the way, chances are that you are going to feel much more motivated to apply this in other areas of your life. For example, if you try to eat a better food and then 1 week in you start feeling your body so much more healthy or much more energized, this helps as a positive feedback loop for you to keep having energy to do different things. In the same way, exploring new places is also very important because it tells you how much your life changes if you simply take a different action. This has been very helpful to me, mostly because right now I'm focusing on some other objectives of my life that require a lot of individual work. Most of this comes in the form of focused, deep work. So for example, when we're learning mathematics, it is very hard to learn mathematics with another person, especially if you are trying to, for example, go through a book or try to study mathematical proofs, which is the case with me right now. Being able to learn to spend time by myself and enjoy our own presence, enjoy getting to know more about our strengths, our weaknesses, and most of all, understanding that our period of growth takes time is very important for us to succeed in the medium, in the long term. I hope that this conversation has helped you become more eager to pursue your goals. The main point that I wanted to leave with you is to challenge yourself to the maximum. Most of the times, this resilience grows with time, so we will be able to take on harder and harder challenges the more we push. And a good comparison to prove this point is that there are many people who are now fighting in wars. There are many people who right now basically don't have any people in their family and they're still thriving. And of course, this is more difficult if it happens, but the main point is that there are people who are struggling and still thrive, even if they didn't have any good life conditions. This doesn't mean that everybody should, but that means that if you are wanting a better life, that's probably the path that you should take. And again, you will receive positive feedbacks from the universe, from other people that you know, from people who are maybe just too bored to start helping other people, but if you send them a message, they will probably be open to help just because it's something new to them, and basically nobody ever did that to them. So try to take more shots, try to invest in yourself more, and you will probably see better results.